Hi, I'm Rebecca Rainier. Here's what's on our full plate today. We have a visit from an Oscar-nominated movie star. She's going to talk about a subject that some say is taboo. And then we're going to talk about having an exchange student at your house. Is it something you would consider? I'm kind of thinking about it. We'll hear about the pitfalls and the benefits. And finally, we're making an all-American dessert. We saw it on Pinterest. We'll pin test it to see if it really works.
It's like I'm seeing all the blue skies, and I'm walking on the edge tonight. It feels so right, and I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here, Rebecca Rainier.
Just like the song says, I am so glad you're here. I'm Rebecca Rainier, and the very first topic we're going to talk about is something that some people, I guess, are embarrassed to talk about. It's menopause. Yes, we're talking about menopause, the change, hot flashes, all that kind of stuff. And a very surprising person is stepping forward to talk about something that many consider taboo. Virginia Madsen is doing a tour. She's talking about some of the things that maybe women need to know about but aren't saying. Here's our interview with Virginia Madsen. Joining me now is Virginia Madsen and Dr. Ricky Polikov. Welcome to the program. This is called Full Plate.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, the first question is finding the words is what you're talking about today. What is finding the words?
Well, you know, as you know, I'm an actress, of course, and a mother, but I'm also, I've always been curious and very connected to my own personal health, and I'm a close confidant of a whole circle of informed women that are my girlfriends. And as we are all sort of moving towards menopause, some in menopause and some post, you know, I found that people were a little bit embarrassed talking about it, and I started hearing about something called dyspareunia, which is basically painful sexual intercourse due to the changes that happen in our body during menopause. And I found that there's an extraordinary amount of women who are suffering in silence. And I felt like we need to break this silence and tell women that it's okay to talk about this with their friends, with their doctor. So there's a website called findingthewords.com. And if you're experiencing painful sexual intercourse post-menopause, you can go to the website and find your own words so you can share this with your partner, with your friends, and especially with your doctor.
And that leads us to Dr. Polikov. What really is this condition? What should, you know, I've never heard the word until this interview, and I think of myself as someone who's always talking to my girlfriends too. So explain it to us a little bit. And medically, what is it? How do we treat it?
Well, medically, it's a pretty inevitable result of menopause. When the ovaries stop making estrogen, we get physiologic changes in and around the vagina that cause actual decrease in size and also decrease in elasticity. So the two together for a significant number of women, and by about the 4th or 5th year of menopause, about 80% of women will complain to some degree of painful intercourse or dyspareunia. So the treatments have been available for a long time locally, some vaginal creams or suppositories. There's even a ring that gives a tiny bit of estrogen over a 3-month period of time, but the embrace of those modalities by American women has been very, very poor. Also, doctors were part of the problem because we tend to not bring this up with women. If they don't bring it up, you know, it makes the office visit go a little faster. But now we're recognizing that sexual health and the sort of fullness of a woman's self-esteem really does relate to her ability to be intimate and not have pain. So with the advent of a new non-estrogen oral named Aspina that was brought to market by the Shinogi company, we are enjoying this campaign to really help women discover that they can talk about it quite easily with their partner, with their physician, and they can get treatment that's effective for actually reversing those changes that cause painful intercourse due to the physiologic shifts in menopause. So we're pretty optimistic that just having a gorgeous, vivacious person like Virginia taking up the cause of being public, that other women will find their voice too.
Well, then that's the question, Virginia. How do you bring up the subject? I mean, it is, you know, aging for women is such a, we're not allowed to age. So how do you, you know, you're a great representative of being 50 and gorgeous
it's not
and
that
vital.
we're not allowed. Well, it's not that we're not allowed to age; we are aging, and I think the more overall with, with all of our health issues, our sexual health is a vital part of that, and the more knowledge we have, the more we're empowered to strengthen ourselves or do something to help symptoms, but. It's time to start talking about it. We don't age the way our grandmas did or even our mothers. And so we're going to actually be spending most of our lives in menopause. And it's not something that is this horrible, terrible, dark mountain that stands before us. It's something that we can learn a lot about. It's not as scary as you think. And this, if you think you have symptoms of dyspareunia, you owe it to yourself to talk to your doctor about it. Go to findingthewords.com and it will help you with the language. You can take notes, bring the notes to your doctor's office.
And to talk to
but
your,
it's time.
Excellent. And maybe hopefully this campaign people will learn a new word and maybe how it might apply to their lives. Thank you so much, ladies. Again, findingthewords.com for more information. We'll have that linked on fullplate.tv. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a completely different subject. We're going to talk about, should you have an exchange student at your house? What's it like? We're going to get into the whole subject. Stay with us.